You think today is normal? It isn't. You're 13, walking home through the dusty roads of Shandong, clutching a few rice cakes for your family. The air smells like dry earth and smoke. You're already planning dinner in your head. Maybe your mother will smile tonight. Maybe your father will complain about the harvest again. You never make it home. Two men step out from nowhere. No warning, no conversation. One grabs your arms, the other covers your mouth. You try to scream, but the sound dies in your throat. A cloth drops over your face. Darkness. When you wake up, you're not alone. A room full of girls your age, some crying, some silent, all confused. No one explains anything. Then the door slams open and three Imperial soldiers walk in. For a second, you feel relief. Authority means rescue, right? Wrong. They don't free you. They shove another girl inside like she's a sack of grain and lock the door again. That's when it hits you. You're not being saved, you're being collected. Drafted without consent, recruited without choice. Your childhood just ended in a storage room. Somewhere outside, your parents are probably searching every street in town, calling your name, turning over every possibility except the real one, because no one tells families when the palace decides it needs more girls. By the time the convoy reaches the capital, you understand one thing. No one is coming to look for you. The palace gates rise in front of you like a wall meant to swallow people whole. No music, no ceremony, just paperwork. A clerk writes down your name as if that makes this official, as if ink can justify kidnapping. Then they hand you a set of plain clothes and tell you training begins at dawn. That night, you lie on a thin mat staring at a ceiling you don't recognize. The air smells different here. Colder, controlled. You try to remember the sound of your mother's voice, but it already feels farther away than it should. Morning comes fast. Medical examinations. You secretly hope they find something wrong. A weak lung, a fever, anything that sends you home. You cough on purpose once. The examiner barely looks up. Healthy, he says. Of course you are. Then the real lesson begins. How to walk without noise. How to bow without hesitation. How to speak only when spoken to. You talk back once, maybe twice. It feels brave for half a second. Then it feels stupid. The slap is quick. The second one quicker. By the end of the day, you understand the rule no one says out loud. You are not here to grow. You are here to disappear. The first month breaks your body. The rest of the year reshapes your mind. Training isn't loud anymore, it's precise. Calculated, designed to sand you down until nothing sharp remains. You wake before the sun, kneel before speaking, bow before breathing. Every motion rehearsed until it feels less like discipline and more like programming. They don't shout much now, they don't have to. Punishments are public. A girl drops a tray. She's beaten in front of everyone. Not hard enough to kill her. Just hard enough to make the lesson permanent. You learn more from watching than from instructions. The real curriculum isn't written anywhere. Never be the prettiest, never be the loudest, never be remembered. One girl shows off her embroidery. It's beautiful. Too beautiful. By the next week, rumors spread that she's trying to attract favor. Then come whispers of jealousy. Then accusations. She vanishes before winter. No trial, no announcement, just absence. You understand something chilling. In the palace, talent is dangerous. Attention is fatal. So you begin shrinking on purpose. Soften your voice. Slow your steps. Lower your eyes before anyone asks you to. By the end of the year, you are no longer the girl who walked home with rice cakes. You are controlled, measured, smaller, still alive. And that is the only grade that matters. After a year of learning how to disappear, you're finally assigned real work. The Bureau of Attire. It sounds elegant. It isn't. Rows of fabric, endless folding. Stitching until your fingers ache and your back locks into a permanent curve. Royal Silk doesn't care if you're tired. It doesn't care if you're 13 or 30. It just has to be perfect. You think maybe this is the safe part. No politics, no court drama, just cloth. You're wrong. 2 days into your assignment, a spool of thread goes missing. Just one. Small enough to fit in your palm. No one confesses. No one knows. A eunuch walks down the line of girls and stops in front of someone from your training group. He says she looks nervous. That's enough. They beat her until she stops moving. No trial, no evidence. Just suspicion dressed up as authority. Her body is dragged away before dinner. The empty space where she used to sit stays empty. No one says her name again. That's when you understand something colder than fear. You're not working in a laundry hall. You're working inside a system where guilt is optional, where punishment doesn't need proof, where your life can be traded for a piece of thread. You tell yourself to be careful. Careful isn't enough. One morning, half asleep and rushing to keep up, you forget a single step. You don't wash your hands before touching a consort's robe. You don't even notice. The silk looks clean, feels clean. You fold it the way you were taught. Hours later, the accusation comes. A stain. She claims you embarrassed her in front of the emperor. You replay the moment in your mind. You're almost certain he never looked at her sleeves. But certainty means nothing here. The cane arrives before your defense does. You kneel. You apologize. You promise it won't happen again. None of it matters. The strikes land evenly, professionally, like this is just another task on someone's schedule. You don't scream. You've learned better than that. Afterward, you return to work. That's the rule. Your back burns. Your hands shake as you lift another robe. Around you, the other maids keep folding, eyes lowered, movement steady. No one meets your gaze. Not cruelty. Survival. You realize something simple and brutal. Perfection isn't rewarded here. It's expected. And the moment you fall short, even by accident, the palace reminds you exactly how replaceable you are. Months pass. You become predictable, quiet, efficient. And in the palace, that can be mistaken for valuable. One morning, the order comes down without warning. You are to be reassigned. Direct service to the Empress Dowager. The entire laundry hall goes still for half a second. Then everyone lowers their eyes again. No one congratulates you. They know better. On paper, this is a promotion. Closer to power, closer to protection, closer to survival. You adjust the way you always do. Speak less. Move cleaner. Anticipate needs before they're voiced. The Dowager notices. Not warmly, just accurately. You are moved into her inner circle of personal attendants. Congratulations. You have upgraded from expendable to useful. But the air feels sharper here. Conversations are softer but more dangerous. Smiles last a second too long. You begin sensing tension you can't always name. Other maids watch you differently now, not with pity, with calculation. You understand the equation quickly. In the lower halls, mistakes get you beaten. Up here, they get you removed. Sometimes quietly, sometimes permanently. So you build something new. Allies. Whisper networks. Small exchanges of information. Who is angry? Who is jealous? Who is looking for someone to blame this week? Because near the throne, survival isn't about obedience anymore. It's about awareness. It happens during a ceremony. Lantern light, incense smoke, silk layered over silk. You are standing exactly where you're supposed to stand. Not too close, not too far. Head lowered, breath measured, invisible. Then you feel it. A pause in the room. You look up just slightly, a mistake measured in millimeters, and realize the Emperor is looking at you. Not past you, not through you. At you. Your stomach drops. In another life, attention from the most powerful man in the Empire might sound like fortune. In this one, it feels like a warning bell. Days later, the summons arrives. You are to receive imperial grace. The phrase is polished, gentle, almost kind. It isn't. There is no refusal, no negotiation. You are escorted, prepared, presented. The doors close. What happens inside them is never discussed afterward. When it's over, you are dismissed like a completed task. You return to your duties the next morning. Fold, bow, speak softly. But something has shifted. Whispers begin traveling faster than you can. Eunuchs murmur that you must have bewitched him, that no maid is noticed without unnatural influence. You understand the pattern immediately. When power chooses you and later regrets it, blame finds the weaker body. And in this palace, that body is yours. The arrest comes at night. No warning, no explanation. Just hands on your arms and the word bewitched spoken like a verdict. You don't fight. You've learned better than that. They drag you through corridors you once walked carefully as a trusted servant, past lanterns that used to glow warmly, down stone steps that swallow sound. The dungeon smells like damp earth and old fear. The charge is simple. You used dark magic on the Son of Heaven. There is no hearing, no witnesses, no chance to speak. The Emperor himself signed the order. The same Emperor who summoned you. The same Emperor who now needs a cleaner story. Execution at sunrise. That's all you're told. You sit in the dark and try to slow your breathing. You've survived beatings, rumors, politics. But this is different. This is final. There is only one person who might intervene. The Empress Dowager. You send a message through the bravest friend you have left. A last gamble, a whisper against a decree. The night stretches endlessly. Every footstep outside the cell feels like the end. At dawn, the guards arrive. Chains clink. You stand. Then another voice cuts through the corridor. The chief matron. The order has changed. The execution is canceled. You are unchained. Returned. Alive? Not because you were innocent, but because someone more powerful decided you were worth keeping. After that, you stop believing in fairness entirely. You believe in timing. You return to the Empress Dowager's service without celebration. No one mentions the dungeon. No one mentions the sunrise that almost ended you. In the palace, survival is not discussed. It is simply absorbed. Years pass. You change positions quietly. From attendant to senior maid. From senior maid to someone younger girls watch carefully. You learn how to read rooms before stepping into them. You learn which smiles are sincere and which are rehearsed. You learn when to speak and when silence protects more than loyalty ever could. The dowager ages. Court factions shift. Princes grow ambitious. Concubines disappear. You remain, not powerful, not influential, just steady. That becomes your advantage. You are no longer the youngest, no longer the prettiest, no longer interesting, invisible again. 20 years slide by inside silk walls and controlled air. You outlast scandals, outlast rivals, outlast the girls who arrived with you. One day, without ceremony, you are handed a small pouch of silver. You are told your service is complete. You are free. The gates open. And for the first time since you were 13, you walk out without being escorted in chains or expectation. Freedom feels smaller than you imagined. The road back to your hometown is longer than you remember. Fields stretch the same way they used to, but nothing inside you feels familiar. You rehearse what you'll say when you see your parents. You imagine your mother's hands on your face, your father pretending not to cry. When you arrive, the village barely recognizes you. Children stare. Adults squint, trying to place a memory that doesn't fit the woman standing before them. Life continued here, without you. Your family's farm looks tired. The roof sags. The fields are thin and uneven. For a moment, you wonder if you've come to the wrong place. Then you step inside. Your mother is there. Smaller, fragile, feverish. She looks at you like she's seeing a ghost. Your father isn't. He died believing you were gone forever. Grief took him slowly, she says. You sit beside her and realize the palace didn't just steal your childhood. It stole 20 years of ordinary moments, harvests, arguments, birthdays. You have a little money. Not much. Your skills belong to silk halls, not soil. But you're still here. You survived the palace. Now you have to survive a world that moved on without you.